Hey, Soul Reaver 2. I'm still playing it. Last time, we got to meet the original owner of the Heart of Darkness. That was fun.
There's more than one way to skin a cat, as the saying goes. Or went, that is. Cats being extinct.
And today we're going to go get it back. I guess. From ourselves. In the past. Time travel. But before we get to that part, I have to run all the goddamn way over there. Wonder if Ariel's gonna have anything to say. We, like, walk by the pillars. Oh, wait. She shouldn't be there, right? Because she should still be alive? Or not born yet? Or something. Apparently the Guardians, you know, are immortal, effectively. But we don't really have any clue how old most of them are, so... Oh, it's still snowing here, too. I guess it's just winter. Oh, just lots of impaled vampires. Oh, cool, cool. Combat room! Okay. Oh, there's 3 of them.
He can change his destiny. What a fool.
Whatever. Don't waste my fucking time with this shit. Would you stop shooting things at me, you fucking asshole? Ugh. Fuck off. I got an achievement for killing them really quickly. Wasn't that hard. Okay, apparently there's not really much going on at these pillars, so... I was kind of hoping I'd get something. I'm not gonna get a chance to talk about Ariel in this game again, am I? She's just not coming back. I mean, this might not be the end of the game. It would be pretty short if that were the case. You know what? I'm just taking the death here. I don't actually care. It's faster and easier. I'm sure that there's gotta be a shift point somewhere around here. I guess I did want to talk about her a little bit more. Oh, it's mostly just, apparently, she does have the same voice actor throughout the whole series, and a gun. So, I was wrong. That's pretty much it. That's all I had to say about it. In my defense, I don't know, she sounds kind of different. Not much of a defense, is it? Alright, this'll do. Still don't know what these are about.
Take the beast down!
It's just some sort of weird statue. I don't know. It really kind of takes the edge off all of this, like, drama.
Over there.
The suspense we're trying to build, or something. When you just can't die and can just run past everything. You're like, oh, I took health damage. Whatever. I'll just become a ghost and then just come back. Ugh. It's fucking goddamn wizards. I hate them. Okay, let's see. I guess I need to get back in there, so I'll need a light Reaver. Can I just hop up here? Yeah, okay, that works. Oh, that's interesting. This one needs an air. Maybe this doesn't open because it's like frozen over. Okay, would you fuck off? Yeah, okay, that's not gonna work. Alright, is there a air one around here somewhere? I don't remember seeing one. There's fire, I guess. Maybe I can unfreeze something? I'm not really convinced. Ugh, would you just die? Thank you. Oh, this is a fire thing, actually. It's not air. It just kind of looked like it. Alright. Unfreeze. Or just... Yeah, okay. That is what happened. Alright, and now I can open the door. Alright. Cool. Kinda looked like I didn't actually shoot the thing there. Okay, that's fine. It worked. Alright, let's get in there. I can't wait for even more terrible combat in here. Terrible. It's just bad. I guess terrible is like maybe a little unfair. It's just kind of not good. Door close. Whatever, we're just blasting through here. It's the same area. Again, it's just like the color grade's a little different because it's cold. And it's got slightly different enemies in it. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
Seize him.
Okay. I didn't really want to pick this up, but you know. I don't really remember which way I came in here from, so hopefully this is the right way. Also, I picked up this fucking sword I don't want. Guess I'll just throw it at someone. Oh, hey.
Suddenly and inexplicably,
What is that doing there?
I discovered the Reaver suspiciously laid across my path.
It's a trap!
Again, I sensed nothing of that temporal distortion, the peculiar sense of displacement I had felt when I encountered the Reaver in William's chapel. Cornered here with the blade, I suffered the same nameless dread that I had experienced when Janos first presented the Reaver to me. I felt at once repelled by the blade, and yet overwhelmingly compelled to seize it.
So, Raziel, here we are finally.
Oh boy.
You have no choice but to confront me now. And I am not so foolish as I've let you believe. We have business to conclude.
You knew I would lead the Seraphim to Janos, you vile bastard. You've been orchestrating my every move. My destiny is an amusement to you.
It was fun while it lasted. I think not, Raziel. Malik, do not let this creature leave.
Fuck.
Poses a danger to the circle.
Not him.
Poor, deluded Raziel. Did you somehow imagine you had the guile to change history on me? I'm the time streamer. I knew your every intention before you did, you imbecile.
Wait. Oh. Well, we remember that, don't we?
Mobius, there is trouble within. The circle is under
Hold
attack.
fast, Malik. This one is the real danger to us.
What are you trying to concoct here, Mobius?
You toxic creature. Did you imagine I'd simply allow you to run loose, corrupting everything you encounter?
I admit that I've underestimated you to this point, Mobius. But it's a mistake I won't repeat.
Wrong again, Raziel. Now, Malik, bolt the door.
Wait, they're just gonna lock me in?
Using his staff to disable my Wraithblade, Mobius effectively disarmed me, leaving me with only one choice of weapon. And yet I confess, it was not the lack of options, but blind rage that made me take up the Reaver. In my fury, it felt as though my hand had acted of its own will, And now that same hand clutched the hilt with unyielding strength, and I felt a constrained tingling, a remote but palpable sense of longing, as the disabled Wraithblade tried vainly to embrace its physical twin.
Okay, well I have this now. Kinda just does normal sword things. I presume I can't throw it away. No. Okay, so this is the moment where Vorador makes his assault on the circle here. I was gonna say, I was thinking about this before. I was like, we never really got an explanation for why Vorador did attack the circle to begin with. It just seemed kind of weird and like out of character for him. But I guess it's revenge for Janos, maybe? I guess that would make sense. The timing fits, right? Well, that's interesting. That also explains why Malik was late to the party. It's because Mobius was fucking around.
Come to take your revenge, demon? Back to hell with you!
I recognize these two as my former brethren, in life as Sarafan, and in unlife as Cain's vampire sons. Melchiah and Zephon, the weakest of Cain's brood. These bastards had no idea what future lay in store for them.
An unpleasant
How
one.
they would become the very thing they so despised. The Reaver hummed with ravenous anticipation. Janos had called it a vampiric blade, endowed with the power to drain its victims of their lifeblood. I was eager to see what the Reaver would do to these two.
Well, I mean, I'm down to kill these guys again, I guess. It kind of seems like the Reaver just does what a normal sword would do, gonna be honest. Okay, you guys are just gonna be like that? All right. Well, we seem to be completely immune to damage now, so that's interesting. What a cool fight. You can't lose it. That makes it really interesting. Tense. If you can't die. I mean, that's the whole game, I guess, but still. Fuck! This is so dumb. This is the worst fucking thing ever. You can't This is terrible. Whatever, you guys. What's the fucking point? How many fucking hit points do you have? Okay, you're dead. Was that bug guy or blob man? I don't know, but whatever. Huh. That's a different effect, actually. I guess this is like the old physical Reaver, so theoretically it should behave a bit more like when Cain had it, right? It still looks different even than the one that Cain had, though, because it's all like gold. What happened? I don't know. It's weird.
And Zephon fell before my blade. I felt the Reaver's bloodthirst as keenly as I ever had when I was still a vampire. I could sense the boundary between us dissolving. The Reaver was consumed with my rage, and I was intoxicated by its bloodlust. The blade had a vitalizing effect on me. My physical energy no longer decayed over time, and the wounds inflicted by my foes healed almost instantly. The Reaver had made me invincible.
Yeah. Why did they just leave it there for me to pick up? This too must be part of Mobius's plan, right? There's no other explanation? It seems weird. I don't know what we're doing anymore. I'm gonna stop thinking. It's not really proved terribly helpful in deciphering any of this. Where's the fucking exit? I hate this fucking room so much. It's so terrible every time I come in here. Fuck. Ugh. Okay, I think it's this way. Oh, yeah, back here again. Alright, 2 more brothers. Great.
Have you come to reclaim the monster's black heart?
You'll have to get through us first.
My former brethren, Duma and Rahab, confronted me next. This all seemed so elegantly choreographed. Exhilarated by the Reaver, I was drunk with revelations. I could finally appreciate the delicious irony of Kane's blasphemous private joke, and I reveled as I colluded with him across the centuries. For it was I who put these bastards in their tomb, thus providing the corpses for Kane to raise as his vampire sons a millennium from now.
It almost is so, like, ridiculous that it ceases to lose meaning. Just a little bit. Oh yeah, cool, alright. And, like, these guys... They have, like, different models, I guess? They got, like... They're colored a little differently, and their armor's design's a little different, but they fight exactly the same as the rest of the Seraphim. And also you have to fight 2 of them at once, and it's super annoying. And you can't use your projectile attacks at all. And there's basically nothing else to combat. And locking on is a mistake, because then they just, like, auto fucking block or dodge everything you do, so you just have to fucking run around like an idiot. This is the most efficient way to interact with the combat system in this game. And it also doesn't matter, you can just do whatever, because you can't die, you can't lose. What a finale. Oh, jeez. Why are they so fucking tough? I feel like these ones have more hit points than the last ones. Oh my god. Dude, if I have to fight Malik again, I think I'm gonna scream. I don't know, man. Oh, this is so annoying. And you can't really, like, separate them either. So I don't see how, like, in the sort of the normal design of the combat system, how you're even supposed to fucking do this. Well, I got that one. He was blue, so that was probably Dumas. Because fish. This is the worst. It's so fucking bad. Worse than the fact that, you know, you actually have to fight these guys, like, that's not great. But worse than that, oh, this is, we're definitely, the game's about to fucking end. Like, I mean, like, come on. It's like, I'm trying to, like, catch up with the, okay. This is, the one we never fought, right?
Get back to the pit you crawled from, demon.
And here at last was my brother Turel, who along with Duma would bear me into the abyss without questioning Kane's command. So dutiful and righteous, even as a vampire. I guess some habits die hard. The vampire Turel had eluded my vengeance. The Sarafan Turel would not.
Well, like, we forgot to put him in the game. There's only one of them, but, like, oh man, it's just like they do the same thing over and over again. Half their attacks are, like, unavoidable, which, like, that's really fucking fun. Like, oh, it's so stupid. Look at this. I think I fucking found a strat, though. Of course, you know, then they just decide to stop letting you do it. But if you keep the rhythm up, you can make this work. I think I need more practice at it. I doubt I'm going to get time to get much more practice at it, though. Also, I think this doesn't do much damage. Oh, there we go. Blah. I can't eat his soul, though, sadly. I guess we have to wait for that. I don't know. Did I even have anything meaningful to talk about here? Not really. There's not even anything past here. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Raziel's just getting really into this, like, murdering everyone thing. And you know what? I can't blame him. I'd be doing the same, likely, in a situation where it feels like nothing you do matters. Fuck it, I'll just do whatever. I'll do anything. I'll become desperate and crazy and just start killing, and maybe it'll have some kind of effect.
So, vampire, here we are. You've destroyed my brethren, and now you've come for me. You'll find I'm not such easy prey. I don't want to kill you, but I will if I must. Return the heart to me, and we can end this now. So, you've come to avenge that filthy parasite and reclaim his foul heart. You're a righteous fiend, aren't you? Apparently I am. No, vampire. This is where it ends, but you won't be leaving this room. Now, let's finish this. I'll make it mercifully quick. As you did for Janos? No, that beast had eluded us for far too long. It would have been a shame to end him too quickly. It's ironic, really. The great Janos Ordrin turned out to be no challenge at all. Thanks to you. Did you hear his cowardly screams when I tore that black heart out of his carcass?
Oh, okay, we're just getting into it. Well, maybe Raziel will fight slightly differently from... No, he's just doing the exact same thing everyone else does. Does this count as a boss fight? I guess we haven't really had, like, bosses in this game, right? Okay, he's just doing the thing. All right, this is how you want to play it? Okay. He's blocking a lot. I don't appreciate it. This actually is surprisingly effective. It's kind of hard to keep the circle tight enough to, like, keep it going, but it seems like you can technically stun lock them if you do it right. It has the benefit of looking really stupid as well. Although if he's next to the wall, it actually makes it kind of hard. So yeah, this is another thing. I expressed some confusion at it before, but like this Raziel's clearly, he's Seraphan, he's human, right? He's definitely not a vampire of any description. It doesn't seem like it. But clearly, Janos knew who he was and thought of him as a child, or at least referred to him as such. It might not necessarily have been a familiar term, like a familial, I should say. Like, not literally his flesh and blood, but, you know, whatever. I just don't quite understand how that's possible. I'm sure there'll be some kind of explanation for it, but it just seems really strange. Okay, well, whatever. That was fun.
I renounce you. And so it ends. My history comes full circle. Sensing its twin, the Wraithblade uncoiled itself from me, and instead wound lovingly around its former self. I felt its grip loosen, and as the blade left me, its absence chilled me more than its presence ever had.
Oh, I see.
A foreboding sense of emptiness and loss stole over me. And a terrible revelation gathered like a storm at the edge of my awareness. With all other foes exhausted, the conjoined blades turned themselves on me.
Oh.
And I realized, finally, why I had sensed nothing when Janos offered me the blade. The Reaver was never forged to be a soul-stealing weapon. The ravenous, soul-devouring entity trapped in the blade was, and always had been, me. This is why the blade was destroyed when Cain tried to strike me down. The Reaver could not devour its own soul. The paradox shattered the blade. So, this was my terrible destiny.
Oh.
To play out this purgatorial cycle for all eternity. I could not bear it. Despair overwhelmed me. You. Are you enjoying this game? Don't fight it, Raziel. Give into it. Was this your destiny for me all along? Trust me.
That's pretty tough.
I felt myself weakening, unable to hold on any longer. The Reaver was too strong. The compulsion to simply let go, too great. And then, a growing sense of vertigo and the familiar displacement. The paradoxical moment when my twinned soul hovered both outside and inside the Reaver blade. This was the instant, the glimmer of temporal distortion Cain had been counting on all along. This was the edge of the coin, the minute flicker of probability upon which Cain had gambled everything.
Now you are free to reclaim your true destiny, Raziel.
Behind Cain's eyes, I could see new memories blooming and dying as history labored to reshuffle itself around this monumental obstruction. And I could see by the dawning horror on his face that perhaps we had strained history too far this time.
Because that means the
By
Reaver
trying to alter
doesn't
my
exist.
fate, he may have introduced a fatal paradox.
My God. The Hilden.
The what?
We walked right into their trap. Raziel, Janos must stay dead.
But Cain's warning was lost as I slipped into the spirit realm, too weak to maintain my physical form. And there, waiting for me as always, was the Reaver, the Wraithblade, my own soul, twinned and bound eternally to me. And I realized that I could never escape my terrible destiny. I had merely postponed it. History abhors a paradox.
Credits. Oh wow. Well, that's a that's a way to end your video game. Okay. Let's go through it then, shall we? So the Soul Reaver was Raziel's soul. The reason it looked different is because it hadn't been, I guess, completed at that point. So that moment of it turning on him was him being assimilated into it. And that's where that incarnation of Raziel's story is supposed to end. Cain interrupts it, thus the paradox. Okay, sure. That makes sense. It didn't, okay, I mean, there are still other things that weren't explained, obviously, but like, oh my god. And that's it? That's the that's how the game ends? Like, damn it! Come on, man! That's not a resolution. I really, And you know the worst part is, it's like, okay, like, we got like Blood Omen 2 and Defiance, and I don't really know a lot about them. Although, apparently, Blood Omen 2 is like, kind of a bit disconnected from the events of the rest of the series. Let's put that aside for now. Let's just, I guess I could start with this game, actually, since we just finished playing it. It's a bit of an oddity, isn't it? I typically say that I would rather see a sequel to a game that takes a new and interesting direction, but fails in the execution. I take that over a mediocre retread that ultimately is uninspired. This game certainly doesn't fall into that latter category. They definitely took a very different direction with it and tried some new things. And in terms of the writing, I don't know that taking it in the time travel direction was necessarily the right call, but they did about as good a job of it as you could with it, I would say. Considering the setup, considering the context, like what we've been handed. If you're like, take this story and make it about the time travel thing, this is a pretty interesting interpretation of that, and it's pretty well executed. And all the character writing's really good, the voice acting's excellent, and that part of the game's great. I'm not gonna, I mean, except for, like, okay, I wish it, you know, had an ending, but overall, like, when cutscenes and dialogue are happening, it's like the game's doing it. Unfortunately, I really feel like in most other categories, this game didn't quite get there. It's somewhere between just okay and kind of bad in terms of most of the mechanical design, which is unfortunate. The combat, I mean, look, I've certainly complained sufficiently about that up until this point. I don't think we really need to go into it too much further. It's not great. The puzzle design feels a little bare bones compared to what we had in Soul Reaver 1, even though there's more variety. The actual intricacy of the individual puzzles is a bit it doesn't quite get there. And then it's like, what do you even have for the rest of the game? There's no exploration. The platforming exists, I get, but it's nothing special. Most of the runtime is literally runtime, you running back through an area that you've already been to. Or running through it for the first time, I guess, and you're running because you don't want to fight anything. Because fighting kind of sucks. I mean, it's short, I guess. It doesn't last long enough. Yeah, for all of its faults, it doesn't overstay its welcome on any of those, because it's what, like 7.5 hours is about what I spent on it. I think the unfortunate conclusion that I need to draw is that it's kind of a bad game, and not that like it's a bad experience, but like the game part of the game is just like, okay, maybe bad's not the right word, but like underwhelming? I don't know. It's kind of unfortunate. It does speak to one of the old design conversations or principles that you talk about when it comes to like video games, since they combine so many elements of so many different media into a single package. You got, you know, elements from film and from literature and music, obviously, and then they've got their own gameplay mechanical systems as well on top of that. All of these elements come together to form a cohesive whole, but there's only one of those elements that's unique to the game, or unique to games as a medium, and that's the part where you play them, the actual game part of the game. And I mean, there's a whole cavalcade of games that are not very good in that particular department, and it's always really weird interacting with them. Because you look at it and you're like, this probably would have worked better in a different format. This probably would have been a better book, or movie, or TV show, or something like that. The ideas are all there, and the writing and the voice acting are doing it, and are interesting, and are worth playing through the game to see. But the game itself doesn't feel especially worth playing. And I didn't feel this way about Blood Omen or Soul Reaver 1. I feel like those actually had enough mechanical complexity and even even beyond the actual, like, challenging elements or, like, the mechanical systems necessarily, those were worlds that were interesting to be in. They were interesting to explore. I wanted to learn about them, and I was interested in learning about them. I was excited whenever I'd get a little tidbit about, you know, this place of the world or this part of the history. And it encouraged me to poke around at the edges, to like look for those things and to spend more time there and to look at the architecture and the geography and to like think about it and the way that this world worked. And this game actively discourages you from doing that. There's nothing to find. There's no reason to explore it. There's no secrets to be uncovered. There's nothing to find. And that on its own is pretty damaging, I think, to the overall experience. But it's not to say that you can't make a linear story-based game that's good. Obviously you can. There are many of them. And to some degree, I would say that this game does do that pretty well, since it doesn't have too much that like necessarily gets in the way of the story that it's actually trying to tell. But it just feels like a missed opportunity. I've always felt that the strongest narratives that I've personally seen in video games are the ones that involve the player in them in some way, even if you're not necessarily making decisions or influencing the direction of things. Like, that can be effective and it can be fun, but it's not necessary, like, in order to make a compelling video game story. But you do need the player to be invested and feel like they have a stake in it. And integrating the mechanics into the actual story, or having the mechanics inform the story, or partially tell the story. There's so many examples of it, and it's like, when you play a game like this, you just feel like, there was just so much more that there could have been here. And I mean, there are some elements of it, right? We talk about, like, the consuming of souls, right? Speaks to Raziel's hunger. We sort of get that. That's a holdover from Soul Reaver for the most part. This is sort of more the along kind of the lines that I'm talking about, and then you've got like the implication of the Reaver preventing you from feeding yourself, right? Like, okay, there's some interesting narrative interaction there, right? That like kind of tells us a little bit about the world and about these characters. But because the mechanical systems are so like bare bones, there's just not a lot there. There's not a lot to like garner from them. It's just a bit frustrating. I'm a bit frustrated with this game. Okay, I feel like I've I got a little more negative about this than I was sort of intending to. For all its faults and failings, it really was pretty fascinating. Even though I kind of wished that I myself had watched someone else play it, because like it's just actually playing it isn't that great, and that's never really where you want to be with one of these things. I'm still glad that I had experienced it, I think, overall. And, you know, the whole series up until this point, like, you do get a big payoff for sticking with it. As for after this, I don't know. I haven't quite decided what's next. I don't think it's going to be more Legacy of Kain, at least not for a little while. I would like to ask for input on this front, whether it's worth playing Blood Omen 2. The opinion seems to be somewhat divided on that game. So some combination of whether or not you would A, recommend the following 2 games in the series, and B, whether you would want to see me play them. Feedback on this front would be appreciated. My current stance is Defiance will probably happen at some point. I don't know about Blood Omen 2. I do want to know what happens next. Like, the ending is, oh, we changed the future, but oh god, oh, we might have messed up though. Kane's plan wasn't so good. Oh shit. And then like, but we don't get any indication whatsoever about what that entails or why. Like, They can't keep getting away with it. You say what you want about Blood Omen's ending, at least it, like, had closure, you know? It was confusing and rushed and kind of a mess, but it had closure, goddammit. Anyway, I feel like, considering that it was the best part of this game, I didn't really spend that much time actually talking about the characters, and that feels kind of wrong. I feel like they should have gotten a little more attention from myself. But it's just kind of tough. I mean, there's just a lot there to delve into, and several of the characters of the game like change quite a bit. I mean, especially Raziel goes through a lot here. And the amount of dialogue that's in this game compared to Soul Reaver, I mean, it's like an order of magnitude more. So as far as like picking out specific things, it's kind of tough. Every single cutscene just had, like, something would happen early on. I would be like, oh, this is an interesting thing to talk about. And then the cutscene would keep going and I'd like forget what I wanted to say about that first thing because 3 or 4 other interesting, important things would happen. It just made it really difficult. I'd have to do a proper like revisit, I think, and try to like break stuff down individually. And I don't know if that's necessarily in the cards. And not that it wouldn't be interesting, but I don't know. I feel like I kind of want to move on, at least for the moment. But I guess whatever. As I said, I haven't quite decided where I'm going next, so... Well, griping aside, I did have fun with this series. At least, you know, so far. Not to say it's necessarily the end, okay, but I make no promises, alright, just so we're all clear. I did enjoy it. Even this game. I did enjoy it. And actually, you know what? It's something that I said before. Flawed games are often much more interesting to talk about than perfect ones. So, in that respect, this is a great case study. Because this game, it's certainly flawed, I would say. But it's certainly brilliant in a lot of ways too. And those are the games that often stick with me the most. Not the best executed, not the most polished and well produced, but the ones that feel like they're punching above their weight. Like they really had some great ideas and some genuine passion behind them, but that couldn't quite tie it all together. Those are the games that I think tend to hit my like favorite games of all time. I'm not sure that this would quite make it. And maybe if I had played this when I was, 12 or something, it could have, but well, I mean, that's just the nature of things. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you for coming along on this journey with me so far. I don't know what's next, but I'm hoping you'll join me further for what lies ahead. Thank you, especially those of you who have been following along and commenting. It's been nice getting a little bit of a back and forth of discourse, learning a little extra about the game on the side, a bit of the behind the scenes and your own experience with it. It's been quite an interesting experience. And I will, as ever, see you next time.